Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the Reality of Real Estate podcast. I am one of your hosts, Christopher Lynch, and welcome my co-host.
Hey everybody, my name is Brianna Lehman.
We give you a real take on making homeownership attainable.
We will be breaking down real-life scenarios, trends in the current market, and giving you our personal tools to make homeownership not just your dream, but your reality.
Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and ready to take action towards building your own empire.
Because when you invest in real estate, you aren't just purchasing a home, you're investing in your future.
Well, hi guys. We are back. Yeah.
Jinx. Again, we did that on the last.
Let's just kind of get into it.
Okay.
And what I kind of want to talk about is what's the current market doing? And I also want to talk about rates and and I just think one of a big question that I get, especially when structuring numbers for someone, is are homes still appraising? And so,
are they?
Yeah,
They seem to appraise to me. We just had one that appraised higher, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. The majority of them continue to do
that was
so.
With you? Yeah.
Yeah,
not by much. I mean, I think it was 2,000.
No, because I almost just said names, but in our most recent one, it appraised. The one you're thinking of in December, yes, that did appraise $2,000 higher.
Okay.
But the one from this month, it appraised for almost $10,000 higher.
Oh. See, I don't know where I've been because I've been so wrapped up in my life. But
you got life going on.
Yeah, I do. So I definitely want to talk about rates. You already kind of know about this situation, but I want to bring up what happened to my credit from one little thing and why it's so important to.
I wish I had recorded that phone call.
I don't, because I was furious. But now we can talk about
both calls, actually.
So what happened is I have a credit card that's not even activated. Why? I don't know. I just have it. I think at one point it was activated, and then I got a new card, and so my account's still whatever. It has a $6 surcharge a month on it. Whether you're using it or not, you're paying this.
Yeah.
In December, before that, someone stole my identity. Okay, you remember that?
So
which
that
is a whole
could have
nother
recorded
episode,
4 phone calls at this point.
So I had to get a new debit card. Getting a new card, because I don't use this card, it was an oversight to not update the auto pay on this particular card for $6. They hit me with $90 in late fees for 30 days and then hit my credit 67 points from 30-day delinquent. First time ever. I do not miss payments on anything. That's why I have auto pay. So I call you and I'm like, what do I do besides something illegal? Because I'm about to lose it. You're like, call them, calm down. I paid the fee immediately, got my balance to current, which most people are like, I would have fought that. And I'm like, well, I'd rather fight my credit than fight the late fee because I was late. On accident.
She was just trying to fight everybody. She wanted it fixed.
67 points is crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. That goes from great to fair credit rating. That. So anyway, I call the company and they're like, you have to write us a handwritten letter. It is 2024. I can email you. You could just copy down this phone call.
Transcript.
Yes, something. So I handwrite this letter, all heartfelt, explain to them what happened. Got real emotional about it.
I coached.
He coached. It was during the time that, unfortunately, my sister had passed away. So I really wasn't in the headspace, and I'm thinking about this $6 card that I don't use. Okay.
Yeah.
So
on an account that is just not even activated.
That's a whole nother thing. So I get this letter in the mail the other day.
Yesterday.
Was it yesterday or was it?
No, maybe it was 2 days ago.
Either way, I get this letter that says, we can only report accurate information. So unfortunately, you're out of luck. We're not fixing this for you. Now, my credit has gone up by 38 points, 40 points or something because I got the balance to zero and all those things. But I'm still hit 20 some points at this point.
But where I feel like they messed up is that if you called back, especially because the two individuals that you spoke to said that it would be fixed.
They sure did.
And so verbally on a recorded phone call, they told you it would be fixed.
Yes.
I don't really care if it's above that person's pay grade to make that decision. So I told her to call back and say that they can technically search your phone number and look, and they can listen to those other two phone calls where two other people said that it would be fixed.
And now I haven't called back because Addie got the flu and it's been a crazy few days. But my biggest concern
She's going to.
Oh, I will be calling. But my biggest concern is, how does that look as a buyer on my credit report? Like, so when you pull it, are you going to see that I have like this delinquent that I didn't pay my bill on time and now I'm dropped it down? Like,
well,
I'm worried about that.
Yeah, I wish that I could
very hard
like emulate like your voice, because it was like, Chris.
I was furious.
And I was like, wait, what happened? But no, I think that it'll be fine, only because, again, one, like, who knows when you are actually going to buy this house.
Don't do that.
And two, it is fine.
It could be tomorrow if the right house comes.
That is true. That is true. I'll give you some credit there. But you paid it. It's at a zero balance. And now I don't remember if you ended up activating it or not.
No, I don't. I want to cancel it, but you told me no.
Yeah, I
told me
no.
not to close it. That's how petty I am at this point, is that I just want to call them and say, well, if you're not going to help me, I'm just canceling this card I don't use.
Yeah. But it's one of your oldest trade lines. So you need to keep it open, which is also why it hit your score
so hard.
So hard compared to if it was a card that you had opened up in like the last 6 months, you'd have been dinged for it, but not the same way that you were, because it was one of your oldest trade lines.
Okay,
now
60 plus points.
You see how this is how like the phone call went.
Crazy.
So she hears me, but she doesn't really hear me.
I hear you. I hear you. I don't know if I'm listening, but I hear it. I hear it.
But then also, like, what we would also just do in that case is that a simple letter of explanation to underwriting to say, hey, like, this is what happened, and this is the letter that you got back after.
So I should keep that letter?
Yeah, don't burn it.
I don't know what I do with that. Okay. I'm sure I have it because I got a call. But anyway, so I just wanted to share that story to, one, complain about it, two, bring up like how easily this can happen, and three, hear from you, like if you get a borrower with that on their credit, is it going to substantially affect them in their buying power?
No, I mean, and that's the thing about it is that, so some people would say like, hey, no, like I can't buy a house anymore because this happened and it was an oversight, but now I need to wait, a year or whatever.
Like me, that makes me spiral. I was like, 67 points?
Yeah.
I still can't, I did choke when I checked. And if I wouldn't have, so I actively check my credit every month on like CreditWise and my FICO score, just because I like to know where I am. And I just randomly checked and saw it. Which if I wouldn't have done that.
Because that was my other thing. I was just like, okay, so did you get any phone calls from them?
No.
And the girl faithfully answers her phone. And if she can't answer, I mean, I've never called her from a landline to where she texts me and said that, like, sorry, I can't talk right now, sort of a thing. Mm-hmm. But like, if you leave her a voicemail, she's calling you back, whatever. Right. And so I was like, okay, many missed phone calls. Did you get anything in the mail? And she's like, no. So then you could put the pressure back on them and just say, hey, send me the call log from when you called me to make me aware of this, and because it should have never gotten to 30 days. And then also send me the mail that you sent me to show me that you made me aware of this.
Right. Not an email, nothing.
And so, like, I feel like they should fix it. There's a lot of reasons to back up why it should be fixed. But also going back to your initial phone calls to people at this unsaid,
I
unnamed
made them
company.
Tell me, yes. Yeah. Tell me this. Like, I even said to them, what do I need to do? What proof do you need that my identity was stolen, that my card was hacked? What do I need? Oh, no, nothing. Just write us a letter. We'll fix it.
Yeah.
So this will be to be continued, because I will call and I will get this fixed. I'm getting this fixed. This is crazy.
There you go.
So anyway,
But it's not the end of the world mortgage wise, especially when it is the first time that it has happened. And a simple letter of explanation can address it and fix it, and life will go on.
Okay, so those important underwriters.
Yes.
Okay.
I said they're our best friends. And
Well, then I need to start calling them.
bye.
Just kidding. Okay, so we'll move out of my drama, and this is the way my life has been the last 6 months. But on to rates. Where are rates today?
So, I mean, they're continuously getting better. But right now, you're going to see, I hate to put it this way, but ideally, no points. You're still we'll just call it 6.99, but which is also better than what it was 4 months ago, even 2 months ago, where they were at 8.125.
Yeah.
So they are improving. It's still a very healthy market, but I said I wasn't going to share this or whatever, but I do have a client right now who is under contract on a house, and she's getting divorced. And so she needed her payment to be at a certain amount, because this is going to be a completely new normal for her.
Yeah.
And so we are buying her rate down to the lowest rate option, and it is at a 3.625.
Oh, wow.
So we got that with the help of seller concessions. So which kind of moves us on to what is happening in the current market. I feel like homes aren't selling as quickly depending on the price. But you can still ask for concessions. You don't necessarily need to ask for the amount of concessions that this specific client asked for, but the house that she was going after,
it made sense.
It made sense. Yeah.
So I have a question, because this came up in our team meeting the other day, and I thought it was interesting. So before, we would always say $1,000 more on your contract is about $5 a month for your mortgage. $5,000 is $20 a month. How does that change as rates change? Because someone said you go by the rate. So if the rate is 7, it's 7% rate. You're looking at $7 per thousand. That's okay. Because that's just good to know as rates fluctuate, and we are using that to negotiate our contracts sometimes it makes more sense to offer more and get more back, because what it's going to change on your mortgage is so minimal versus the benefit of having less out of pocket. Yeah.
Over, we'll just call it the last 3-4 years. If you kind of just stick with that, okay, every per thousand, it's going to, increase your payment, decrease your payment. Essentially, you can even say somewhere between $6 to $8, because you don't want to go too low, but you also don't want to go too high. Right. But then you also are factoring in especially on your side, you don't know what their homeowner's insurance quote is going to be.
Right.
And then depending
and that's why it's so important to have, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but to have a good lender. Because I just wrote an offer this last couple of days. We won't talk about it because I'll just go on another rant. But the lender that they chose, I said, well, did you run these options by them? I asked them, they haven't gotten back to me. And they never did. And I'm you guys should just reach out.
Raggedy.
Yeah. I'm trying to tell them, you need to ask them what makes the most sense for you. What's going to benefit you the most on me writing this offer? Because
other than trying to get an offer accepted.
Right.
Because the bottom line number, especially when it comes to a payment, the total out-of-pocket expenses, those are important. And so unless you're out here like Daddy Warbucks, but I even feel to some extent, Daddy Warbucks is worried about the bottom line.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind when people actually go, and that's fine if you trust this person and you like this place and all this kind of fun stuff. But if your needs are not being met,
right,
why are you going?
Well, and I think that this is, again, we always come back to representation and knowledge, but buyers are so rate driven right now. Well, rates are high, rates are high, rates are high, without the education of knowing that rates have been higher, and your rate can be high right now. But again, if you are
partnering with the right people, you will be equipped with the right tools to put yourself in the right position for your
Sorry.
situation,
Yeah.
and you will be okay. Like, you can always refinance later. Like, it blows my mind when, like, in that situation, your client is not, from the financial side, is not being treated like a client, as like a normal human being. They are
Right.
being treated like a number and just essentially a transaction.
Well, and then from a 9 to 5 position as well. And real estate is not 9 to 5. Real estate is not Monday through Friday. Real estate is every day. We're working at 9 p.m. in the summer. Sometimes we're working till 10 p.m. writing offers, negotiating terms. And when you have people who clock out at a certain time and they're like, hey, I'm out of the office, I'll talk to you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Well, I just lost, because from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. is a long time and a lot of time for negotiating and offer deadlines. And you as a buyer, you just lost out because you didn't have somebody to guide you through that.
Yeah.
And as an agent, I can give all these scenarios, but I'm not the one giving them the money to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So they really need to have that person, that lender. You educate them along with it. They need that.
Yeah, like, it's one thing if you are someone who says, like, regardless of whatever this comes out to, I know I'm putting 30% down. I've already have my money set aside for my, closing costs. I've already taken into consideration, I've asked this person to give me my, max pre-approval amount. And at my max pre-approval amount, this is what my payment is. We're looking at something that's $70,000 under that. I know that the payment will be less. Everything else, sure, go with whoever makes you happy.
Right.
Because at that point, you don't really need anything updated to do anything. But how do you essentially make best use of your cash right now? Because the house that you have found, it has some issues. Seller says that, every disclosure says it's being sold as is. They're not going to fix anything outside of the cash you have. You don't have anything else. So how do you structure this properly to, again, put you in the best position, because this is the house that you said that you wanted.
Yeah.
And how do we make this happen for you?
Right.
I always look at it this way. If your needs are not being met, why continue it? And that goes for any relationship.
Well, and it also goes with, they may not even realize their needs are not being met.
Correct. If
They
you don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
Jinx.
You don't know what you don't know. And that is part of my job.
Yeah.
But there's also a fine line, I feel like, where I can't just continually push,
yeah.
because then they're going to be like, back up. Like, I know what's best for me. Okay. I'm just here to guide you. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, though, like with these buyers, we did lose in this multiple offer situation. It was a bunch of things. I just can't talk about, but I'm going to use it as a way to say, again, you guys were offering what you thought was most comfortable for you. I would strongly suggest you talk to some other lenders. I won't even push you again. I mean, I'm going to send your info in there again, but talk to them to get better options, because if our offer was structured,
it costs you nothing but a few minutes of your time to just have an additional conversation.
and if your credit was just pulled, you have that 14-day
window.
Just do it. Just shop your rate, please. And if
shop
you're so
your rate,
driven,
shop your options, shop
your concessions,
all of it.
Your closing costs goes into that.
But again, you don't know what you don't know, and if you're nervous about the home buying process to begin with, and sure, they're getting advice from you, but then also they're probably getting advice from their friends, their family, whoever.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, my buddy did this with X company, and so, or my brother, whoever. But if your situation isn't exactly like theirs, it doesn't matter what happened to them and for them. It just doesn't matter. If your situations are not truly identical, and if they're not, it doesn't mean that the same thing is going to be out there. Or if they bought a house when a certain program was around and now that program isn't available anymore, it doesn't matter. So it's those things to where having the conversation, just getting your concerns, your fears, your needs, your wants, all of that out there. And I'm a straight shooter. So if you tell me, I'm going to tell you if it's doable or not.
Right.
And if you say, hey, please handle these people with care, I'm going to still be a straight shooter, but I'm going to handle you with care.
Right.
And so, like, if you are the fragile box, I'm going to delicately carry you across the floor.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I need to know so I can best help you.
Right.
Bottom line. I like that one.
Yep.
This episode was a good one, even with your rant.
I'm going to think about it until it gets fixed, too. I can't even get on and check because I get so mad. I'm like...
I'm just anticipating the next phone call. Chris!
No, I'm going to say they fixed it. My credit will be repaired in 30 days. Well, that's what they originally told me. They're like, now, just keep in mind it can take 30 to 45 days to reflect on your credit. And I was like, cool, no problem. I have Experian. I have all 3 of them that I check regularly. So... No.
So did the letter say that they weren't going to fix it, or they just said that we're only going to report accurate information?
That they were only going to report accurate information, and so unfortunately they could not fulfill my request at this time, which was to take that back. They did report it 0, and my credit went up, but...
That ain't good enough.
No, because that's on there. And how long does that stay on there? Forever?
Kind of.
Yeah. That's going to drop down.
Well,
my
that's
percentage.
wrong. If you keep that card open, which I don't necessarily agree with, but it's your oldest trade line, so I feel like you should, for a while, it's going to report essentially the last 24 to 36 months. So it'll always show on your credit report that at some point you had a 30-day late if they don't fix it, but your credit score is only going to, like, up or down is essentially only looking at your last 24 to 36 months, especially when it comes to payment history.
Yeah.
So
still, I'm getting it fixed.
It's annoying. It's frustrating. I get it.
Well, my stomach is growling. So let's wrap this up. I'm starved. So then I'll get even more upset about the situation.
Oh my gosh. This is us, guys.
Thanks for all your information today, friend.
Apparently, Bria's like, I didn't eat breakfast.
I gotta go eat. I did eat breakfast, which could be a whole nother episode where I'm eating more because I feel like I didn't eat for 3 months and my metabolism stopped. So, but we're not going to talk about that. So I will see you guys on our next episode.
Bye, guys.
Toodles.
All right, friends, as we close things out today, remember, homeownership is more than just a roof over your head. It's a symbol of your strength, resilience, and determination.
Take action, embrace growth, and never be discouraged about where you are in your journey.
And remember to follow us on Instagram at Reality of Real Estate Podcast.
Our emails are linked in the description below. You can reach us at
Christopher.Lynch@ccm.com.
And my email is blehmanrealtor@gmail.com.
All right. Toodles.